the Underpowered Hour. On this week's show, Brabus comes out with a Pepto-Bismol-colored Range Rover. Then we're joined by our good friend Marie Reyes to talk about the world's most famous Discovery 2, Bernard. And now, here's the show. Welcome to the Underpowered Hour. I'm Steve Barris, mild-mannered television executive by day and Land Rover collector by night. You can find out more about our cars and what we're working on at thebarriscollection.com or follow us on Instagram at thebarriscollection. I'm joined, as always, by my good friend, Goss.
Thank you to everyone joining us today.
I am the sun sheet to Steven's sunroof. I'm the roaring wind noise of podcasting, Goss.
I own and operate Pangolin 4x4 in Springfield, Oregon, where we live and breathe Land Rovers. Check us out online on Facebook, Instagram at Pangolin 4x4. Let's get started.
All right, Ike. Well, this week in the news, our good German friends at Brabus. Remember those guys?
Oh, yeah. We saw those folks at Pebble Beach. They were driving around their incredibly offensive-looking vehicles and revving the engines a lot.
They are the bringers of the most gauche vehicles on the planet. Well, they have given the Brabus treatment to a pair of Range Rovers, and they're calling them the Brabus 600 series.
Brabus 600.
And you got them in two flavors. You've got Darth Vader, with the blacked out. If your Range Rover isn't murdery enough, they'll offer you. This is a slightly murderier version of the Range Rover,
sure,
which is great.
You can barely see it.
That's right. It
absorbs
at night,
light.
Not safe to drive at all. Not safe to drive at all. And the interior of that car is very special.
It is like Darth Vader on the outside, and then like 80s grandma bathroom on the inside.
That's exactly right. It is like the interior is. I guess it's like a taupe, or not a taupe. It's like a seafoam color.
Maybe like a double mint, or something like that. It's definitely like a seafoam green kind of interior, and everything is seafoam green. It's kind of like
it's intense.
There's a couple of carbon fiber accents, but largely it's seafoam green.
It's just interesting because it so heavily contrasts the outside, that I don't exactly know who that car is for, because when it looks like, you're a serious hardcore gangster rapper on the outside, but then you get inside and it looks like a Tiffany's box. I just don't know who that person is. But anyways,
it's a complicated individual. If you're looking to stand out in a sea of mumble rappers, this is the vehicle for you. And they also have a sort of a contrasting edition if you need a his and hers situation.
That's right. And this is really
they have
this is the one.
What they're calling the Peach edition, and it's spelled PEETCH. No, that is not a misspoken. It literally has P in the name. And if there were something less appealing than P, this would be it. It is really horrible. The entire thing is peached.
Yes.
It's peached out. It's
literally peached out. That's right.
It's peach color.
It is peached out. Yeah. It's peached out.
It's pretty amazing. The wheels are peach. The mirrors are peach. Everything is peach. The interior is peach. It's peach on peach. If you have a diamond encrusted cell phone case, this is for you.
This is your car. Yeah. It is Pepto-Bismol color.
Yep.
As probably the best approximation, or Ken doll. Like the sort of the color of it.
It's a little more
maybe a little more orange in there, but a tan Ken doll maybe.
Perhaps our newly elected president, if you were to his skin tone on a car.
Yeah. It is a very, very special color, and there is a lot of it.
There's a lot.
Basically, you cannot escape that color. Again, it's a Brabus 600, which they take the standard, what is it, the 560 or whatever, the P560.
Yeah.
And then they Brabus it up to 600. whatever that means. I assume they increases the horsepower to 600, and they peach the shit out of it, and then they sell it to you for no less than 3 times what the starting Range Rover price is. You can have either one of these, either the murder on the outside, grandma's bathroom on the inside, or just shit ton of peach for $540,000.
That's a bargain.
I think
0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds.
That's pretty good for a Range Rover.
Pretty peppy.
That's a heavy car, so.
Yeah. They're calling the interior of the black one pistachio.
Oh, of course they are. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Delicious, delicious pistachio. But it's really something.
Yeah, get yours today at Brabus.com.
You know, I hoped that maybe they would do a 6-wheel Range Rover, like that Glendewagen. But I guess they don't make it. Mercedes makes the 6-wheel
sunroof for falconing or something like that.
For falconing, yeah. Right. Well, they already make the falconing one with the falconing bar in it. That's a factory one. But
who knew?
I don't know, man. I just think maybe I got to give it another look. Maybe the peach edition is really something that I need in my life.
I think you do. If only they made a Freelander version.
Oh, if they made a Freelander version, I would have to get it. Maybe that's what I need to do with the Freelander. Maybe this whole G4 Orange, I got to peach it out. Peaching is the new murder out. Peach out is the new murder out.
All the kids are doing it.
All the kids are doing it.
Well, speaking of the things kids are doing, I guess there's a movie coming out with some Land Rovers in it.
Oh yeah, what movie's that?
I want to say it's called Back in Action, and it's
Back in Action.
Yeah, it's Cameron Diaz's return to the big screen. Jamie Foxx is co-starring, and they're CIA agents, and they're driving around in a Land Rover.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah. What kind of Land Rover is it?
I think there may be more than one. I've only seen the preview. It hasn't even come out yet this
No, that's right. It's still new.
They're driving a Defender, a right-hand drive Defender, new Defender, I should
New
clarify.
Defender,
In at least one scene. And I'm pretty sure it flips over and crashes, and it's spectacular. And usually all the bad guys in these movies, in the spy movies, they all drive Range Rovers. And they're Russians, which I don't really understand, but that's what happens. I'm led to believe.
I saw Red 1 this weekend, with the Rock in it. 100% Chevys. It really it felt like they should be Range Rovers, but they were all Chevys.
I'm surprised. Really I thought they would have been driving reindeers, but
there was some reindeers. There were some reindeers. Yeah, there were some reindeers, but you know what? It was pretty good.
I watched the trailer for that, and I swore I would never see it. It looked terrible, but J.K. Simmons,
it's J.K. Simmons and The Rock. I stand on my theory that The Rock has made some kind of a deal with an ancient deity of some kind where he cannot make a bad movie.
Really?
No matter how stupid the premise. It's impossible for him to make a bad movie, this stands the test.
Just the migraine talking that.
Yeah, maybe it could be. Yeah, that's true.
It might be.
It might be. This was really good. It was. Doesn't make sense, but it was great. It was great. It was great.
Yeah, I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah,
but no Land Rovers, right?
No Land Rovers in that. There were 100% Chevys in. They really shoehorned them in there too. Improbable models of Chevys just shoehorned in there. So didn't really make a lot of sense.
All the elves are driving Colorados.
Yeah, exactly. It was really.
So it's just an advertisement. This film.
It really was front to back. Amazon. They're all about product placement. I mean, essentially their business is product placement. So they'll take that money from anybody. There's no scruples on the advertising dollars. So.
Well, speaking of scruples, we've got an incredible interview today.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. One of our favorite people out there without question, one of our favorite vehicles, if not maybe my favorite vehicle. Certainly my favorite Discovery 2. I think the world's favorite Discovery 2.
I just want to qualify and say that I've never driven a Discovery 2.
That's true.
I'm intimidated by them.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to learn about
power steering.
About Bernard, who we've heard has possibly some supernatural abilities.
Oh, I think so. I mean, I think it's the only way.
Logical explanation.
Yeah, it really is. There's mythical powers. Speaking of Red 1, there's some mythical powers happening in that car. And we have our good friend Marie back to talk about Bernard, how Bernard performed in this year's Rebel Rally, some trials, some tribulations, but of course a star-studded finish as always. And let's dial up the old interview machine and get her in here and do some chatting on our favorite Series 2 Land Rover Discovery, Bernard.
All right.
After some negotiation with her media team, we have finally managed to secure the owner of the world's most popular and potentially most sought after Series 2 Discovery, our good friend Marie Reyes, the owner of Bernard, the world's most famous and literally indestructible Series 2 Discovery, of course, competitor now for 2 years in the world-famous Rebelle Rally. Marie, welcome to the show. We are so happy to have you this morning. Can't wait to have some chats about the world-famous Bernard. Certainly one of the most beloved Land Rovers on the planet. I think it goes maybe Huey and then just right underneath Bernard. I think just underneath. And some days I think it's neck and neck.
It's debatable.
Yeah, it's debatable, for sure.
It's debatable.
Definitely above that
Well,
Sean
I'm so
the
glad
Sheep
to be
Land
here.
Rover.
Yes. Oh, way above that Sean the Sheep Land Rover. God, that thing is a... Yeah. Well, it's so good to see you, and congratulations on another Rebelle in the books. So many people, don't even make it to the start line. So to not only have made it to the start line, but to have finished in a classic Series 2 Discovery for the same classic Series 2 Discovery.
The same one.
For 2 years in a row is pretty epic. And of course, that Series 2 Discovery Bernard is our favorite Series 2 Discovery. It's Ike's only Series 2 Discovery. He doesn't recognize other Series 2 Discovery as existing.
There's
So,
no others that exist. And now we have heard a little bit about the origin story of Bernard and your experiences with him. But for those of us in the listening audience who haven't heard that, tell us a little bit about how you came to own and love and later race Bernard.
So the story of Bernard is many moons ago, and I finally got a big girl job. I wanted to buy a vehicle, and my dad really loved Camel Trophy and the Dakar Rally. And, Land Rover appreciation worked in my favor here. 2 years, it was 2003, and I was eyeing a 2001 Discovery. And I believe my purchase price was like $16,000 or $17,000 2 years out.
Wow.
And I was like, this is it. It's a sign. So purchased Bernard, had big dreams. I was like, this is it. I'm gonna be a rally driver. It didn't happen because I did spend all my big girl job money on that truck and then the subsequent repairs that happened.
Now,
so go ahead.
So you're the second owner of Bernard.
Yes.
And the
officially
first owner just like
was
what happened
Jesus
to them?
was Jesus Christ or something? Like was it blessed
I believe
in some
so.
Yeah, right. Okay, yeah.
I think so.
Amazing.
I bought him from a Lincoln Mercury dealer because at the time the Navigator was a big deal. And I guess whoever originally owned Bernard had kids, and that back seat is not helpful.
Oh yeah, that's true.
To anybody with a car seat.
That's right.
It's barely accessible for an adult.
Right.
So.
For a full-fledged human being. Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
So that's his story. I'm the second owner. He was abandoned for a child, apparently.
Oh man, what a if only they knew what they were giving up.
I know.
Yeah, the ultimate unstoppable, perhaps the only good Discovery 2 ever to come out of Sully Hull. Wow.
Potentially.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So subsequently,
worked in my favor.
Yeah, subsequently, what modifications have you made before deciding to take it on the Rebelle? What kind of stuff had you done to the old Discovery 2 there to kind of use it? Did you just buy it to sort of as a daily driver? Did you intend on using it as an off-road vehicle, or what exactly was the intent in purchasing it?
So I intended to take it off-road.
Mm-hmm.
The reality was it was a daily driver for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it was a daily driver from 2003 to 2015, so 12 years of daily driving LA traffic.
Wow. So you drove it for 12 years. It literally is the most amazing. This is just incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
Of course, we had to do the head gasket.
Yeah, of course. Well, yeah, that goes without quite. That's a factory accessory, is another set of head gaskets.
Exactly. Yeah, but other than that, dealt with the Three Amigos issue, and daily driver for 12 years.
Wow. And it was, besides head gaskets, otherwise, nothing too serious?
Nothing too serious. And then the only reason, so it did stay parked in my driveway before I joined the Rebelle. Yeah. And the only reason for that was it just wasn't economical for gas.
Of course.
Like, as a daily driver, I drive into Hollywood every day, so it's like a 20-mile commute in traffic. So not the smartest.
Yeah, in a V8 Discovery is a little it's a little pricey, yeah, for sure.
It's a little pricey. It starts to make it not worth it to work. It's like, I'm working for gas. That's cool.
It's a straight push. Yeah, it's a
thought
train.
about it that way.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. And so then what inspired you to take on an event like the Rebel? What brought you that information that something like that was going on, and what made you think that, hey, I can do this, and then, hey, I've got Bernard sitting in the driveway. Let's do it.
The big thing was many years ago. I'd say, it's year 10 of the Rebel officially in 2025.
That's right.
So I'd say like 7 years ago, thanks to social media marketing, it showed up, I think, either on my Instagram feed or my Facebook feed. And I kept saying like, oh yeah, one day I'll do it. Classic one day. And then I'd look at Bernard, I'm like, yes, one day. And then it just never happened.
Right.
And then in 2020, my husband passed away, and I realized, like, we're not getting any younger. Bernard's not getting any younger.
Yeah.
The funny side story to Bernard is I think he had it in for my late husband. He constantly would like slam him against the dashboard. His little seats would move.
Wow.
And my late husband was the one who, Bernard's sitting in the driveway for a couple of years. I was like, maybe I should think about selling this vehicle.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything. And he said, please don't. That car is going to come after me. So I left it in the driveway.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, one day. And after he passed, I was like, life just keeps going and you have to do the things you want to do.
Right.
And for once, the resources were in place. So I signed up. At the time, Bernard not running.
Right.
I think I signed up for the wait list because they told me if I signed up for the wait list, I'd have access to the following year.
Yeah. That's how they
like
get
a little
you,
preferred list. I know.
Yeah.
So I signed up with a non-running vehicle. 2 weeks later, they're like, okay, we'll take you. And I was like, no, you don't understand.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
I'm not ready. And they're like, okay, we'll just give your spot to the next person in line. I was like, perfect.
Right.
But then that really lit a fire under my butt to get going. And then in a fun turn of events, I started dating my Land Rover mechanic.
As you do, which is often just the most economical way to.
Was that out of necessity? Like,
yeah,
be honest.
Yeah, I was like, oh God, I really want to get this Land Rover back. Wow,
We've all been there. Yeah,
he was pretty cute. Let's go back to
That's how I met Ike as well. Yeah, it's the same.
I started dating Ike.
That's right.
For necessity.
Yeah.
Sweet of you to say.
Oh.
Yeah, Series 1 parts are not cheap. Yeah, so.
No, you have to start dating them.
Yeah, that's exactly
labor gets
right.
very expensive.
It does. And it's worth it. Yeah.
But that's the big story of how Bernard started his Rebel journey.
Interesting.
So you started getting the Discovery going again. What did that process look like? Did you just tow it to a Land Rover shop and like say, whatever it needs, go crazy? What did that look like?
So I was at dinner with my boyfriend before the vehicle was running. We did start dating before we decided to resurrect Bernard. And he had asked me, he's like, so do you want to take your truck back in? Do you want your truck back working? And I said, I do. Here's this crazy thing I want to do. Don't make fun of me. I was like, I want to do the Rebel Rally, if you've ever heard of it. He said, I have. I said, I want to do the Rebel Rally in Bernard. And he was like, yeah. He's like, your car was running before you abandoned it. He's like, I'm sure I can bring it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so how long did that process take?
It took, I think he got started in like 3 months.
Nice.
3 months.
Yeah.
That is a medium-sized project, to
Yeah.
get everything sorted out. And so your boyfriend, he's the best Discovery 2 mechanic in the entire world, apparently?
I think it's proven that
so.
If you have a Discovery 2, you got to give John a call because he obviously makes a pretty decent Discovery 2. I think that's been proven here. Now, the first year you had, if I'm not mistaken, Marie, you had 0 mechanical issues with the Discovery 2.
Correct.
To be fair,
0.
most people on their commute to work can't say that about a Discovery 2. So on an 8-day off-road rally across Nevada and California, have 0 mechanical issues with a vintage Discovery 2. I think that's really saying something. That's pretty impressive.
There's a lot of new, like brand new cars on the Rebel Rally that suffer various mechanical maladies of all types and forms. And from some manufacturers that you associate with maybe more reliable cars.
That's right.
That's true. It's very true.
Now,
we also survived the drive.
That's right. The
so
drive. You drove it there. That's right.
Too. Yeah, some people are towing these vehicles all the way to the event site.
They are.
You drove it there.
That's right.
Yeah, I've said each tech inspection, I look like the only person who off-roaded to get there. Because Bernard also has his lovely 23-year-old patina going.
That's right. That's right. I feel it's very much like the Jamaican bobsled team in Cool Runnings, like the Germans are unloading their sleds off of their custom-made trailers and everything, and meanwhile Bernard is just rolling up out of the desert, I really
Exactly.
I love it. I absolutely.
Now,
it's such a great story.
The first time that we interviewed you, you told us that there was like a mechanic or somebody that worked on the mechanics team that every time they would see you would be like, "We'll see you soon," and was just taunting you,
Yes.
because of the Discovery 2 reputation. But you never had to go see him. So
Never
was
once.
there ever a time where you saw that mechanic and you were like, never saw you, did you rub it in their face just a little?
I did see him at the gala last year, and I told him, I was like, so I never showed up. And then he admitted, he was like, well, you brought a good vehicle, and you apparently know how to take care of it. I said, thank you, sir.
Well, I
Thank
think that's the key piece there, Marie. It's as much about the driver as it is about the vehicle, because we having Ike and I out there every year at the finish line, we have the benefit of seeing all of these different cars from Ford's essentially trophy trucks that they have built for them by the Ford racing team at the hundreds of thousands of dollars per car, all the way down to the Subaru privateers that are essentially driving station wagons out there and everything in between. It really does come down to the driver and how good the driver is at taking care of their car and making sure that they understand the car and are able to pilot it through that course in a way that they don't just destroy it. Because we've definitely seen some cars come back absolutely destroyed.
Yes.
And that's sometimes the course is just that tough, and certainly I think, and we'll talk about this here in a little bit, but certainly I think that's sometimes the course is just really tough, and sometimes I think it's just that the drivers are just pointing in a straight line and going at speed.
That's something you would know a lot about, Steve. Having driven just a small part of the course, also in a Discovery. Just want to point out that you tried to jump your Discovery over what, 6 3-foot deep consecutive trenches?
Yes.
How did that go for you?
Yeah.
Well, we made it to the 6th one. That was it. That was where we got fouled up, unfortunately. If that starter wire was crimped on there a little harder, we would have made it too. But that's all right. We got there. That's all right. Thankfully, Ike's good at pushing, so it was all right. We got there. We got there. It's all right. They're a tough lot, those Discoveries. Tough.
They are.
Yeah, Stephen.
But also, it's a Land Rover owner skill, right?
Stephen can't survive 1/10 of 1 mile on the Rebelle Rally course.
I would have been out very early on. Yeah, my driving style is much more Super Dave.
Barely made it to the celebratory dinner.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. We rolled in directly to the mechanics bay.
But that's the thing. I think Land Rovers know where the mechanics bay is. It was let me just get here and I'll be fine.
And it'll be fine. Yeah. The mechanics had a great time. We went for a boot around in the truck. They enjoyed it thoroughly. So yeah, it was a good experience for everyone involved. So speaking of mechanics bay, this year was a little different than last year from what I hear. A little different. Still no finished with flying colors, but there were a couple of mechanical issues. So let's talk about this year. What befell the mighty Bernard this year?
So the first visit to the mechanics bay, it was a very silty course.
Yes.
Our doors stopped working.
Oh, okay. Just entirely.
The passenger side door.
Yes.
Just would not let my navigator out. I was able to get out if I put a little weight in my door, but Land Rover owner things, you just kind of figure out what will work. She at home drives a Toyota, so she's used to something that's guaranteed to work all the time.
All the time, yeah.
And I was like, no. That's not our life right now.
It softens you up in a Toyota.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I would have to get out of the vehicle and let her out, like a driving Miss Daisy situation.
Like a child. Yeah, like driving Miss Daisy. That's very nice of you, though. It's very chivalrous to get her out.
Right?
That's right, yeah.
I think it really made it look like I was such a caring person. They didn't need to know that, we were having issues.
Was just stuck, yeah.
Yeah. So our first visit was just to blast some air in those
de-silt the doors.
jams.
Yeah, well, that's fair. Yeah.
So that was our very first visit, and already I felt defeated because I was like, ugh, one visit to the mechanics tent, it's over now.
Minor.
My whole reputation's ruined.
A perfect record dashed by some
Perfect
silt.
record.
Yeah.
But then day 3,
yes,
I blew my shock.
All of your shocks.
First it started out as the passenger front.
Okay.
And then I think the passenger driver side had to compensate
for
the dancing of the front. So
And
then it became both front shocks.
Right. That makes
Thankfully, the rear shocks held on.
Okay, good. Good.
So I'm picturing a
No
situation
front
where
shocks at all then for a period
No
of
front
time.
shocks. Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw that video of them pushing Bernard
Yes.
and it's just
Yes.
jumping.
Yes.
Yes, so we had that.
Okay. And did they
We looked
have?
like
Did you bring shocks with you? Did you bring replacement shocks with you?
I did not.
Oh,
I
okay.
was overconfident. I brought my front drive shaft, as one does.
Right, of course. Yeah, 100% on a Land Rover. Always bring another drive shaft. Yeah, that's
So I had that, and John was like, "I don't think you're going to blow your shocks."
right. That is pretty unlikely. I agree. Yeah, I agree.
It's unlikely, but it was perfect storm, rough ditch. Bad
Listen, I can
angle.
tell you those ditches are rough out there. I think
They're awful.
as Ike's spinal cord can attest. I think
brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal. And that was with working shocks too. I'm picturing
they were working. They were
a
working.
vehicle with non-working shocks and doors that don't stay shut, just like
it's just
tumbling through the desert.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It caused like a whole situation. So the front fender's kind of busted because I'm trying my best to go after I blew my shocks. I'm trying my best to be gentle.
Sure.
But we're in Johnson Valley, which isn't known for
it's not
roads.
Gentle terrain.
Yeah.
At all. Thankfully, my boyfriend and my brother met up to get shocks to us.
Great.
But they couldn't get it installed that evening. And then the following day was a marathon.
Oh, wow.
So we didn't get our shocks until the day after that.
So a whole marathon without shocks.
I have a speculatory question. How many rebels do you think Bernard has in him?
I am going to say, I did sign up for 2025.
Okay.
So I'm guessing one more.
One more, yeah.
And I've been telling everybody one last, but I think Bernard will decide. After this one, though, I was like, it's not endless. It's not a limitless amount.
It's not a limitless
rebels.
amount. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Bernard may not be an airplane where you can just continually replace things until, At some point, I think it does need to go into the Land Rover Hall of Fame and just be retired,
that's exactly my next question. What is the end-of-life strategy for Bernard?
Oh, end of life. I think...
Is this a do not resuscitate? Or is this like we're going to cryogenically freeze this person?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I'm going to... I feel like I'll have to do something.
Yeah, it'll have to be memorialized somehow. Yeah, we're going to have to talk about that. Maybe there's take up a collection here in the SoCal Club and maybe, I don't know, do something with it. I feel like that's an important piece of SoCal history.
We could bronze him?
Yeah, oh yeah. Or just galvanize the entire car. That's an appropriate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you still drive Bernard on other occasions other than the Rebelle?
Yes, I did see Steve and Liza this past weekend at the Rover Rendezvous.
So you took him to the Rover Rendezvous?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Did a couple trails.
Yep.
I still do trails on the weekends when I can get out there.
Cool.
So we're living the life that I wanted for Bernard.
Yeah.
Where we really are out and about in the dirt.
It was on display at the Golden Rovers booth at Rover Rendezvous. They were showing off the awesome little fold-out table that those folks, those fellow Oregonians, Oregoners, or whatever you call yourselves, had built this really awesome table that folds out of the back of the door. It was on display in their booth there at Rover Rendezvous. Sounds very cool.
There's a little shelf up there for my tent and my sleeping bag.
Oh yeah, the shelf is super cool as well. I want them to build me one for the Defender, but they're like, we don't do Defender stuff yet. And I'm like, a classic Defender and a Discovery are like the same thing. So
I have a follow-up question for Steven, actually. Steven, how many happy stories have you heard about Discovery 2s?
This is it. This is the total sum of happy stories I have heard. And I know a fair number of people with Land Rovers.
More than most.
Yeah, more than most. And I mean, being on the board of the SoCal Rover Club now, this is my 16th year, I think, maybe. I probably know hundreds of people with Discovery 2s. This is the total sum of happy stories of Discovery 2 ownership. Yeah.
Wow.
So, that just goes to show you. That's why I said it is a very special car. It's a very special car. I almost feel like you should just weld the hood shut and not touch it, Like it's just feels like one of those things where you just bottle it up, I feel like it's like Becca's 107. It's just like it's one of those things where you just don't just leave it. Don't touch it, and it's going to run forever.
This is like a Herbie. This is like a Herbie situation.
It
too.
is.
It is.
Yeah.
Like
from
from the beginning, where you were telling about the origin of Bernard and how it's sad and how it was like opening doors and moving people's seats around and like doing all this kinds of things.
Right.
I'm just it's wild. This is wild.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people really do think there's something wrong with Bernard.
Wrong?
My old roommate asked me to move him out of the garage because he bought a brand new Subaru and started to have issues. He goes, "Can you do me a favor and park your car down the street for a little bit?"
Right.
Just so I can narrow this down.
That's right. Yeah.
I think your car's haunting my car.
It's contagious.
It's a bit haunted, but it's haunted in like a good way, right? Like it's
In a good way.
it's haunted for the right reasons. I think.
Exactly.
I agree. I agree with that. I mean, there is definitely something special about that car. We all know it, and we all love it. I think it's just the best Discovery 2. Maybe the only good Discovery 2 that Sully Hill made. It needs to be protected.
I think so.
Yeah, we need to work to protect it. We need to work to protect it.
I'm very biased.
Yeah, well, yeah.
The
entire community is. I think it's just.
There is another Disco 2 that's going to be competing in 2025.
What?
I heard that.
The entire field's going to be taken over by Disco 2s.
It has a name as well, right?
It does. Its name is OG Bobby.
Bobby and Bernard.
Bobby and Bernard.
I know. I heard this and I'm like, this is too good. Like, what the hell is happening out there? Like, well, I don't know.
We're going to push all the Jeeps out. It's going to be a Disco 2
Exactly. It's going to be
soon.
entirely Discovery 2s here in a few years. It's no more Jeeps at all.
They're probably going to shorten the rally to like 200 miles, but it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. It's just so that it's completable. But yeah, hey, that's fine. That's fine.
Great.
You know.
So I'm excited to have another Disco 2 out there.
Absolutely. You
Who
guys
knows?
can
There
trade
might be
parts.
another. Yeah.
Well,
We'll have one spare parts bin.
Yeah.
I, for one, really appreciate you coming on and telling us the saga of Bernard.
It really is. It
Yeah.
really is. It really is
fun.
exceptional. And congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Congratulations to the whole team. You know, obviously everybody in the car, everybody back at the home office for getting that car out there, getting it prepped and ready and put on course. And man, you guys, it was a rough year for everybody involved.
Yes.
This was the hardest, I think, year they've ever put together. But you guys sailed through, and it's fantastic. And it always warms my heart to see Bernard out there. And I think the whole event, I think, appreciates it because Emmy and everybody in the live show, everybody loves Bernard. It's the patron saint of Discovery 2.
I think so.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's great to see you again, Marie. Please come back and
Will do.
say hi again at some point in the future. All the best of luck, and
Thank you
say
so
hi to
much.
John for us. And yeah, if you have a
Will
Discovery
do.
2, you need it to last forever. And you reach out to Marie, and her and John can put together
help you.
apparently the best running Discovery 2s in the world. So
Exactly. Indestructible.
That's right.
Only a little voodoo.
just a little, there's a.
Only a little voodoo.
It's okay though.
There might be a bucket of holy water at the shop. Who knows?
Whatever is required, you know what? Just don't question it. Just embrace
Just
it.
accept it.
Yeah, just accept it. All right, Marie. Well, have a great
Bye,
rest of
guys.
your week, and we'll talk to you soon.
Whoa.
All right. Well,
that was a little bit more than I bargained for. I really did not expect there to actually be some supernatural or paranormal activities going on with this vehicle. There's really, there's definitely a ghost in that thing. It's definitely haunted. And even previous to the haunting, there was some odd things going on. It reminds me of James Dean's Little Bastard.
that's right.
The Porsche that he died in.
Yep.
It later killed some people and maimed some people, fell off 3 tow trucks and fell off a stand at some sort of display and injured someone, and all these various things happened. But Bernard's all that in a good way, because
In a good way. Yeah, no, it's a positive sort of haunting.
Yeah, everybody
kind of
that
thing,
touches Bernard, it heals the sick.
endowed with magical powers.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
No, it is. I think the Herbie the Love Bug analogy is the right one. I think it's here to spread joy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm certainly happy after hearing about it.
Yeah, me too. I think that, like we said, we gotta. I think that thing, we just have to galvanize the entire thing like a pair of baby shoes, and stick it out on memoriam somewhere when it's finally gives up, which may outlive us all at this point. And I think it's an incredible car, and John and Marie do such a great job of taking care of it, bringing it out to events, and people love seeing it. I can tell you at the Rover Rendezvous, people really get jazzed up to see that car in its rally livery and everything, and it's really fun. It's a great car.
Right on. Well, Stephen, it's been a pleasure.
It has been a pleasure, and we'll see you next week.
All right, everybody. Take care.
The Underpowered Hour is produced by Liza Barris, Ike Goss, and me, Steve Beres. Pavel Svardov composed and performed our theme music. Consider supporting the show on Patreon, and if you already do, thank you. Your support makes the show possible. For even more, check out our Instagram or Facebook.